The sacking of Igor Stimac by the All India Football Federation was meant to be seen as something of a severance of ties from an era that has defined Indian football for the longest of times at this point in time. However, it's safe to say it was nowhere near the kind of clean break that many people anticipated. Now, the main reason for this is, of course, the fact that under Stimac, the decline towards the end of his tenure was pretty bad. Not only did India not do well in the 2023 AFC Asian Cup, which to be fair was very much expected given the tough group they were in, but they failed to even make it to round 3 of the FIFA World Cup qualifiers and AFC Asian Cup qualifiers of 2026 and 2027. The reason for that being less so, let's say, plausible or an easy one to explain, because they were in a pretty easy group and dropped a lot of key points to the likes of Afghanistan and Kuwait, teams that on their day India should at least be able to beat rather convincingly. But now the focus is back on the relations between the AIFF and Stimac, which, truth be told, were always terse at best. But now that Stimac has been sacked, he's hit out, and actually in a letter that has been published by the news agency Press Trust of India, has threatened legal action against the AIFF. Why so? Because he claims he hasn't been compensated for the sacking. Now, we'll go over it in some detail and look at it as to why this is one of those cases where yet again the AIFF finds themselves looking just a little bit on the foolish side. In the letter, he's claimed multiple things. He first said that I kindly ask you to immediately, but not later in the next 10 days, organize payment to me for this termination of contract without just cause. Now, without just cause usually means that you need to have some sort of a really extreme reason. So for instance, say he showed his employers in poor light, or falling out with the players. That also normally be seen as just causes. But the fact that he's been sacked just out of the blue, I mean, normally speaking, there are clauses which are inserted within contracts to ensure that these are smoother process. But as we'll discuss later, that's not necessarily the case in Stimac's contract, which is why he said that you have to pay me whatever it is I'm owed in 10 days. What happens if they don't? He said, first off, he said that this amount should represent the remaining value of my employment contract prematurely terminated by the AIFF in accordance with Article 6 of Annex 2 of the FIFA regulations on the status and transfer of players. Now, if you're wondering why is it that the status and transfer of players comes in, it's because, well, the status and transfers of players also includes how it is that you'll deal with managers in these cases. Managers, more often than not, are also given contracts like players are. So if you are to, let's say, terminate the contract of a player, you'll either need it to be done by mutual agreement to the point where the player says, okay, I won't take any money, or if the player doesn't agree, then you're going to have to buy him out of his contract. Exactly the case which will be here in the case of Stimac, because his contract, he had only recently renewed, ran for quite a while, and therefore he is owed a fair bit of payments. Again, we'll get to the exact figures in just a bit. But this is the major threat he's thrown. He said that if you don't do this, I will start proceedings against the AIFF before the competent FIFA Football Tribunal and file a lawsuit. So he's basically threatened legal action, which he is actually well within his rights to do. Leave aside what it is you think of Igor Stimac, the football coach. Maybe you were a big fan of him. Maybe you felt he had done as much as he could have, but it was still time for him to go. Maybe you never liked him from day one. Whatever your opinion of him personally or as a coach, the fact of the matter is he's well within his rights to be asking for the compensation here. Why so? Well, the reason is pretty simple. There was no severance clause in his contract, and if there was no severance clause, then he would have to be paid whatever it is that he was due over the remainder of that contract. And remember when I said that that contract had been extended? Well, he had been given a contract extension all the way up till 2026, which means there was 2 years left on the contract, and the amount of money that he's owed could be totaling up to rupees 6 crores. Yeah, 6 crore rupees that will have to be paid to him by a federation that is already cash strapped to the nth degree. Again, a pretty, you can say, I don't know what sort of a decision was taken here, but it is one of those things that, once again, as I said at the start of this video, calls into question the competence of the AIFF. Why is it that he was given a contract extension till 2026? Were they expecting to qualify for the FIFA World Cup? Because that was always going to be an unrealistic expectation. Why would you not wait for him to, let's say, get through the qualifiers and then see how things were going to work out? Why not extend or give a short-term extension till then, thus making it easier to part ways if the results weren't desired? Most coaches, more often than not, will often operate on their contracts from a tournament to tournament basis, international coaches. So Say if you're a manager of a European national team, your contract will either run to the World Cup or the Euros. Similarly, if you're a South American national team manager, your contract will either run to the Copa America or the FIFA World Cup. In this case, 2026 was the FIFA World Cup. India were never going to qualify for the FIFA World Cup. And if you were going to give him that long a contract, why not have a severance clause there which is agreed upon? So say that, listen, if we want to terminate it, then we can do so only if you have to pay you, say, a token amount, say 1 crore, would have been far less than the 6 crores they have to pay. Definitely a messy situation all around, and one hopes that the both can come to some sort of an agreement. Otherwise, again, AIFF and Indian football as a whole is left with egg on its face. But that's just my opinion. What do you guys think? You can let us know that in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, tap the bell icon, follow us also on social media. We're on Instagram, X and Facebook. Don't forget to download the AajTak app. And if you're already on the channel, go ahead and check out some other videos we've done as well. For now though, from my side, it is goodbye.